Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer too. I'm half crazy,
all for the love of you. It won't be a stylish marriage.
Hello, Cubanwriter here, and tonight I'd like to review, very briefly, Marvel's Hulk, Where Monsters Dwell, an animated film that my wife and I tried to watch on Netflix. I say we tried to watch it because after about a half hour in, she had to bail. It was just too horrible. And so I was left to endure the agony of it myself. The story really should be called Marvel's Doctor Strange, Where Monsters Dwell, with a special appearance by the Hulk and Jasper Sitwell's Paranormal Containment Unit. The Paranormal Containment Unit, which is something I'd never heard of before, had as much of a supporting role in this film as the Hulk did. Doctor Strange seemed to be the main focus of the story as far as I was concerned. There were plots involving the Hulk and his alter ego Bruce Banner coming to terms with one another, but those plots didn't seem any greater than Doctor Strange's plot about rescuing some children who had been turned into monsters by a foe called the Nightmare. The Nightmare is one of those special villains that lives in a dream dimension, like Freddy Krueger, where anything can happen and therefore nothing matters. You already have the problem in a Doctor Strange story that he uses magic, and they can basically gimmick up any effect they want from his magic. When you add to that a dream dimension, where anything can happen that anyone can imagine, you just have a story where it's go anywhere, do anything, multiplied by go anywhere, do anything, and equals no tension or important drama that draws you in. You know that Doctor Strange will magic up whatever the plot requires. You know that the Nightmare in the dream dimension will nightmare up whatever the plot requires. You know that the people trapped in the dream dimension will imagine up any dream that the plot requires. And it's really the worst of all worlds. This wouldn't be so bad if the movie was well written. But right from the start, I see characters saying and doing things that I don't buy at all. You have some kids who are trick-or-treating on Halloween night, and they stumble upon the magic mansion of Doctor Strange and see him fighting an extra-dimensional beast, and they drop their candy. And then they lament the candy and go back for the candy. I don't buy it. I'm sorry. If I was a kid trick-or-treating and a magical house opened up, revealing an extra-dimensional creature that a sorcerer was fighting with, my candy would be completely gone from my mind. It wouldn't even be on my radar. This is not the last example of strange writing and weird dialogue. It continues throughout the film. I really have to fault the writer for this one. My mother always tells me not to be too hard on the writers, since I aspire to be a writer someday myself. But as a critic, I really can't let it go. The writing's terrible. The art isn't any better. The place where I'll say that the production deserves kudos is in the voice acting, which is well done. Everybody's taking it seriously, as though they have no idea what the final product will look like. And some of the audio effects are nice. Jasper Sitwell is a zombie in this one. And whenever he speaks, they add a little bone rattling sound, so it sounds like his jawbone is clanging around on the inside of his mouth. That's a nice little effect. It shows a lot more thoughtfulness than other aspects of the production. The Paranormal Containment Unit is composed of various monsters. I presume something terrible has happened to these people, although not very much is done to explain their backstory to you. It's just, here's the Paranormal Containment Unit. They are monsters, something happened to them, and we're not going to discuss it. It's somewhat frustrating to introduce a whole bunch of characters for which I have no frame of reference, but I guess knowing that one of them's a werewolf, one of them's a vampire, one of them's a zombie, and one of them is the Man-Thing is supposed to be enough. The course of the story is somewhat meandering and unengaging. I didn't care what happened to the characters about halfway through. And then it just went on and on and on. I thought it was going to end at one point, and I was so grateful. And then it just went on again. The story ends with no major development for the Hulk, but with a major development for the Paranormal Containment Unit, who gains a new monster out of a child that was turned into a monster by the Nightmare. And it really seems to be setting up more Paranormal Containment Unit stories. I just don't care about them. All I can tell my faithful viewers is that they should avoid this tale unless they want to Mystery Science Theater it up. But really, I don't even think it's bad enough to be good in that way. It's just a slog. And DC animated films definitely have the advantage over Marvel animated films based on what I'm seeing here. That about wraps it up. This is Cubanwriter signing off, and I hope that the next film I review for you can be a good one. Catch you later.
But you'll look sweet upon the seat of a bicycle built for two. Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer due. I'm half crazy, all for the love of